where the sea rolls out to meet the land to merge into sky, where giant rocks of granite stand out among the hills, there is a deep urge in man to establish a kinship with nature, with the earth, with stone, with the sea. The ancients, when they saw this landscape, were deeply moved and inspired to build temples by the sea, monolithic shrines, caves in the deeper recesses of the hills, to God as homage from man. Today, Mamallapuram lies deserted, inhabited only by the fisher folk and the sound of the sea. But once, 13 centuries ago, Mamallapuram was the most important port of its time. Its name spelt magic. The kingdom of the Pallavas spread its power by sea, by trade, by war, as far east as Java and Cambodia, as far north as Ayahole in central India. The contact here between man and the elements has always been close. The stones inspired it all, nature's own creations. Here was material challenging to the sculptor, something which enlarged his vision, yet kept an intuitive response to the natural shapes, the curves, the textures of the stone. The freshness of vision was not only outstanding, it was never again to be paralleled. It drew directly from folklore and our popular imagination. This landscape, which attracted the ancients, and the legends attached to the temples, have quickened the excitement of an endless stream of visitors. They come, in awe and wonder, to stand before Vishnu, recumbent in his deep sleep on the bed of the ocean. Anantasayan, divine God, releasing a remarkable sense of peace and radiance that seems in deliberate contrast to the opposite panel of Durga. Durga, with 8 arms flaying out in all directions. The story comes from the Markandeya Purana. She sprang forth, fully formed, like lightning, from the mountain to symbolize the power and weapons of the gods, to destroy the demon bull Mahishasura. Her whole body taut like the bow she holds, an equation for the release of energy. Krishna, the divine savior, protecting his simple people and the cattle of Vraj against the wrath of the god Indra. As Krishna stands holding up the mountain Govardhan, so much else is going on at the same time, expressing what is best and most pure about the sculpture of the Pallavas. The Rathas, surely, are the most celebrated among the temples, initiating a new kind of monolithic shrine. 5 of them, strung out along the sands in a north-south direction. Carved whole out of a single sheet of whale-back rock, named after the epic heroes, Draupadi, Arjuna, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva and Dharmaraja. There is something so arresting and pure about these figures. The slenderness of limbs have a strange, inexplicable sensuousness about them. These are the masterpieces of Pallava art, retaining all the vigor, the dynamism of a new style. The gods are carved serene, but austere, as in this image of Shiva, merged with his consort, now half male, half female, Ardhanari. The genius of the Pallavas chose the hardest of rocks. This was new material, untouched by their rivals, never again to be forgotten in its impact. The vision of the landscape coincided with the demand of the king Mahendravarman for a new legend to be carved on rock, an epic saga of gods and heroes that could defy the defeats he had suffered against the Chalukyan king Pulakasen. For the legend, they went to the Mahabharata, to Arjuna's penance in the deep forest, to be granted the boon of arms from Shiva. We see the great warrior transformed into the most severe of ascetics, emaciated from hunger and thirst. To this drama of epic dimensions, the sculptor added something of his own, the hypocritical cat, imitating Arjuna to persuade the mice that she too was holy, and so to provide food for more than just the soul. In the natural cleft of the rock are represented Nagas and water spirits to suggest the swelling waters in the river, which has led to the controversy today that because the river is vertical, it represents the descent of the Ganges. Yet, in fact, these are the most natural scenes beside a riverbank. The heavens above tell a different story. The Gandharvas ride the skies, exulting in joy at the final moment of triumph, when Arjuna is granted his reward. Below them rejoice the beasts of the forest. Life teems with running deer and antelope, the lions in their dens. It is a hymn that extols the efforts of men and gods, a cosmic view of a whole universe in movement. Between sea and sky, the shore temple, the last of the shrines to be built here. Nature, that once inspired it all, has begun to reclaim it as her due. In a world silent, expectant, we hear the words of the poet Louis Matisse recalling a monochrome world that has all the indulgence of color, a still world whose every harmonic is audible, largesse of spirit and stone, created things for once and for all featured in full, while for once and never the Creator, who is destroyer, stands at the last point of land, featureless. In a dark cell, a phallus of granite, as abstract as the North Pole, as alone.